Consciousness. With me is Ashley Lee.
Hello.
And I'm your host as well, Annie Collette Carr. Today we are living inside Pronoia. And this is our 10th episode of a 12-week series. And we're so excited that you're here to join us. And really, truly, the message of being able to adopt a lifestyle of Pronoia happens because you're developing your self-love practice on a daily basis. And the universe is simply reflecting back to you that you are loved and you are supported and resourced in all ways. So we get started. I think we have a beautiful definition of Pronoia coming up.
We are so excited to share this idea of what is Pronoia. It's not just a made-up word, although I think Robert Krasny, is that correct? Or some others?
Yeah, it started back in the 50s.
Right, a long time ago.
Someone asked, what's the opposite of paranoia? And the opposite of paranoia, which is a fear-based state, is pronoia. I'm coming from love, and I'm truly connecting to my true nature of love. And therefore, I recognize the universe is bountiful and supports me fully. When I presence the embodiment of pronoia through the collective consciousness of oneness, I completely recognize the abundance of the universe that it provides to support all of us.
All of us. And it's really exciting to live in this realm, to wake up every morning and to say, I release all forms of fear. I move into, consciously choose to move into all forms of love. And that love is expressed as pronoia. And as then I become at the living embodiment, I walk around, I vibrate to that, I think of that, I emote that, I then become what is called pronoic. And in my world, I view my world through a pronoic lens rather than a paranoid lens of fear and worry and concern that everyone's to be against me.
Right, and we'll get into that more in just a moment.
So living without pronoia is that paranoid state, living in paranoia. And what do we mean by that? Well, paranoia literally does mean that the world or everything around me is conspiring to be against me. And when we actually truly step into that belief that things are conspiring to be against us, what happens is we start, I'm afraid of you, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that. And it's very hard to navigate our world around us when we're very fearful of things being against us. And so we wanted to share this basic understanding of paranoia. When I am in fear, I feel separate from myself and all others. My fear is manifested from feeling the world is out to get me. I consciously release, as my reframe, I consciously release my belief that the world is out to harm me. I consciously choose in this moment to adopt pronoia as my new perspective. The world is conspiring to support me. And we find that when we really change that paradigm, when we really live and move into that, we recognize that the world starts to come at us, supporting us. And it's a really cool feeling when those synchronicities start to come into our lives.
It's true. And we may even feel that later in our lives, like we look back and reflect and recognize, oh my gosh, the world came in and rushed in to support me, and I couldn't see it in the moment. But in hindsight, we can notice all the ways in which we were supported and move into gratitude states. Because that is where we start truly expressing from a cup that is full. Yeah, we're doing our daily self-practice of love, gratitude, mission of how the world has supported us. And I think this definition is very much classic definition that people have been exposed to, but we want to share with you some of our own little bits of paranoia.
We do.
So when we think that everything in life is my enemy, I got to tell you, you will be shocked at what you think is your enemy. And it's really anything that opposes your demands in life. And if you don't believe us, look at every time you see demanding energy around you. These are the whiny people that are either children making demands without any way to take another person's perspective, right? That's demanding energy. And sometimes these people grow up to be very demanding bosses who cannot take another person's perspective. And so the people that are on the receiving end of that demanding energy always feel like the world is antagonistic towards them because of the way people deliver their demands. And all of that is from a fear that their needs are not going to get met. So this definition of enemy consciousness, when I believe the world is against me and everything in it resists my efforts, creating hardship, push, and demand, I fear I will never succeed. In fact, some people feel that they're failing or they have failed because of this. So the reframe is, I consciously release my judgments that the world is my enemy and out to crush me. I now choose to recognize I am the proof I choose to create. So when we let go of that belief that the world and everything in it is against you and not working in your favor, you begin to open that door a little wider for things to rush in and support you with time, energy, resources.
We happen to have this third idea of how paranoia can creep into our lives. When others negate us, we tend to move into paranoia pretty significantly. And from that negation, we really create these ideas of the need to have coercion consciousness in our lives. And so when I fear others won't believe me and they negate me, I am forced to elicit persuasive behaviors to achieve the goals I determine are necessary. So as that reframe, we can actually create for ourselves, I consciously release my paranoia that others are against me and won't conform. Now I reframe myself even deeper and saying I reframe my beliefs to support pronoia and collaboration in my life. And these are some of the ways that we can really become aware and really learn about how we really do experience paranoia on many, many levels and can shift that into pronoia each and every day. So let's talk for a minute about challenges and experiences in experiencing pronoia.
Oh yeah, social conditioning. Oh, this one always gets me because I like to say we're all done with dog training. Families do this a lot, and a lot of it has a cultural imprint that is just being passed on, and I see this a lot in my family constellation work. And then we create other consciousness challenges as a response to that social conditioning, and that could be loyalty to family culture, it could be the way we do things. So we want to start moving into deeper states of awareness when we are doing this so we can reframe it even more. So here is our definition for this. I have consented to becoming socially conditioned so that I belong or am part of a group that I may or may not agree with in order to feel loved, good enough, or not out of favor. And the reframe, I consciously released the conforming I chose because I did not want to be judged as being wrong or not normal.
That's a really big one.
It is, because tied into this can also be a consciousness challenge called I don't have a right to exist. And when we don't believe we have a right to exist, then we feel we don't belong, and then we feel like we're always on the outside looking in, and that creates deeper levels of problems. So social conditioning is a really good one to release.
It really is.
Oh yeah, lack.
right? Lack can be huge in our lives because really we can find lack just about everywhere in our lives. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, everywhere lack can exist. And it is really challenging to move through our concepts or our beliefs about lack. But boy, they do really drop the ability to embody and experience pronoia. And so in this idea of lack consciousness, when I believe I can't have what I need because I'm not good enough, or I don't have enough energy, time, money, or resources, I remain depleted and empty.
Mhm.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
And really, when we can notice this lack in our lives, noticing that those are challenges in experiencing pronoia, and we can reframe it by sharing to ourselves and really choosing to change the way we think and believe by saying, I consciously release my judgments, also known as fear, of not having enough. I open to choosing an environment that supports me, knowing I am enough. And it really does, that belief pattern, really, when you embody it and you believe it and you understand it and you live and breathe that, your actions and behaviors and value systems begin to shift and change.
And I'll add one more thing to this. This can produce time consciousness, where time is a liability. Oh, God, I don't have enough time for this or that. And nope, can't do it. Don't have enough time. And that is another form of lack. And Ashley very wisely pointed out to me one day that my emotions that were of a low frequency were lowering my energy. And I just kept saying over and over, oh, I'm too tired to do that right now. I'm too tired. And it's like, wait a minute. She said, aren't you the source of your energy? And I said, well, yeah. And so we had a really long conversation about this. And now I have made an association that I want to share with you today. The E in exhaustion is the E for emotions and the E for energy. So if you feel that you don't have the energy, ask yourself what emotions are creating this lack of energy, because here's where you get to remind yourself, I am the source of my energy. I am the source. And then you get to explore, what did I do to crash my battery? Because it's just another form of lack consciousness when you believe you're too tired to do something.
It's really true. That was a great rendition of what we can experience every day.
Mm-hmm. I knew someone really wealthy who said, oh, I don't have lack consciousness. And I said, really? Do you ever feel like you're too tired? You don't have enough time? And they're like, oh.
That
Yes.
other kind of lack.
Yes.
And now we can talk more deeply about one thing that really prevents us from experiencing pronoia, and it's enslavement to money. And lots of us experience this in many different ways, whether we're challenged with money and not have enough, or we have too much money, or any other kind in between. But when we become enslaved to money consciousness, it really does impact our ability to experience pronoia from a day-to-day basis. And so we shared here with everyone an idea of the meaning of this is, when I perceive that I cannot afford to fund my life, I then believe my survival is threatened. And right, threatened survival is what? Paranoia.
Totally.
Therefore, I bind myself to the awareness of not having enough money and the lack in my life that becomes self-perpetuating. Right? It's just over and over and over again. And it's hard for us to get out of that cycle. And so in the moment, notice, oh, I have enslavement to money consciousness. Okay. So now we can actually choose to reframe it, because I'm choosing to experience pronoia every day in my life. So I can say to myself, as an example, I consciously release my paranoia that I don't have enough wealth, and open to healing my prosperity, wherever that may be in our lives. And these are just 3 examples. We could come up with probably a bazillion, but we decided to focus on 3, where everyone could get the idea of what really challenges us in experiencing this form of true happiness. So how is living with pronoia valuable?
Well, first of all, it does get you living in the flow, which is an empowered state of being. And as I choose to embody relaxation, peace, and allow attachment to outcome to flow from my experience, I open to all that comes before me. I remain in a state of neutrality by recognizing my true nature of love flows through any experience I create.
And that really is true, right? Because living in the flow really allows us to let go of demand, expectation, and these ideas of attachments to outcome. And it really allows us to see something more is available. And this next point is really supporting in that by love is abundant, right?
It sure is. As I fill up my cup with self-love, I embody the awareness I am. And the world is overflowing with love throughout everything that is in our experience. As my cup is full, I presence myself to experiences I choose to create loving energy exchanges with. I mean, that is really a powerful place to be.
It really is. And let's share for a moment about this idea about how love is abundant to everyone. Because I sense that a lot of people are strangled by that, right? When chaos is happening, when problems are happening, when we're not having life the way we're choosing it or wanting it to be. What if the universe, what if the world is really devised of three major constituents that create our physical reality? And what if it's all about love, right? At the end of the day, when we really tune in and we ask, who are you? The answer is love, right? And what can we do in our world to create the physical manifestation is omniscience or all-knowing or knowledge. There's knowledge is everywhere in everything. And it's completely accessible to everyone when we let go of our doubts, when we let go of our consciousness challenges. That's what allows us to take that leap of consciousness.
You just made something so crystal clear to me. When we are not looking for love in everything, we're coming from paranoia. We're coming from fear. Is that going to hurt me? Are you going to hurt me? Is that good for me? You know, we go through the search looking for what's wrong in the world, which is paranoia. But when we divine witness, we're actually looking for the love in everything and in everyone.
It's really true. And then we look at the third constituent is omnipresence. So we have presence of time and presence of literally presence when we move out of time a little bit. And we have this now moment, and it can be expanded or contracted. It can be inside the now moments, can be the past, right now, and in the future, all in the now moment. I know as we can create different time continuums that are allow us to work with creating our physical reality. And inside of that, in that omni love, is where love is abundant. Love is never non-existent in this universe. It's how we learn how to tap into it. Remember that about ourselves and each other and the world around us is where we begin to see abundant love. And that's what's so wonderful about this concept about love is abundant.
And once you're in the flow, you know right away when you're out of it, which is great because then you can conflict resolve what got you out of the flow and go back to your self-love practice and you'll be back in it. Then you'll be able to create unlimited potential, right? So this is through the complete awareness of neutrality. I now choose to create an experience of limitless potential. From the opportunities presented before me, I experience life absent of judgment, absent of all fears. That means no more paranoia of my experience. And that experience again is in the flow.
Right. And that unlimited potential really release that paranoia and live in pronoia, the whole experience of life. And our last one, favorites, right, is conscious creation consciousness. That means I'm aware, I'm awake of the creation I'm choosing to create. Sometimes I'm not so awake. I create things that are a little messy, that don't really work. And so when I recognize that I'm able to step into this pronoia and know that I am this love, I truly do begin to embody naturally and organically neutrality and the presence of myself in the 0 point, to organically experience it internal and eternal judgments or agenda. And from this stillness, I subsequently choose to create my empowered state of being. I am this conscious creator. And inside of that realm of conscious creation, I know that I set up other empowered states of being, like in service to us and pronoia, and other opportunities that start to really gather the energy and the resources in my world that start to create things that I truly choose to live, embody, and so what are the many benefits of one who lives inside of pronoia in the world?
With this inner guidance, unified inner guidance consciousness. So you can look at it this way. As I make a conscious choice to really embody and unify with my higher self to support me in a moment of decision, I embody the state of being one with my inner guidance. So I am making conscious choice from inside the space of love and coming
Really beautiful. The next one, and the benefit of one who lives inside. Many of us are challenged by this state of being. Doing our housework, doing our homework, doing work with kids, getting everything done the way we like to, an opportunity to experience life the way they enjoy it. And so even in the midst of chaos, I move in the moment of disarray. I consciously choose to create an inner knowing of calm by releasing my judgments, my self-judgments, that I cannot have tranquility due to my internal and external environmental factors. So it is us who creates the serenity, not our outside experience. I can say though, working in intensive care environments and other environments, that there definitely can be challenging, and it's still possible. So we invite everyone to experience this serenity consciousness in the moment of chaos and play with it a little bit. You see what comes to mind, see what comes through you, see what maybe triggers you or doesn't trigger you anymore. It is amazing to live inside of pronoia, embodying serenity consciousness.
And seriously, when you're witnessing chaos or huge disorder and discord, say under your breath out loud so you can hear it and feel it, I choose peace. And then move into that space with your inner guidance leading you.
It's really true.
Yeah, living in peace versus anxiety. I love this, because what is your inner dialogue, your inner monologue, your soliloquy that you share with yourself? Because we listen unconsciously to our inner thoughts all day long, but we're not objective about them. So we have to retrain how we talk to ourselves. And this embodiment is really beautiful, and it's consciousness. When I notice discord from consciousness challenges and the resulting conflicts in my awareness, I have a tool called conflict resolution. And I choose to utilize that to heal the judgmental experiences. With the discord from judgments healed, peace unfolds naturally and organically, which is going to produce happiness inside of you. It's all about choice. And you have the ability to make that choice by saying, I choose peace.
That's really true. And knowing really this deep sense of oneness and presencing yourself, right? Bringing yourself into that now moment and presencing the oneness that you are with everything and everyone around you. And so when I embody the presence of oneness, those around me may connect and receive the opportunity to embody the healing of separation and experience oneness, all of us together. We can say to ourselves, I am one with, I am not separate from,
and then fill in the blank.
Right?
So what is the discord that you are facing in the moment? Recognize in that moment, okay, I am one with everybody being upset today. I'm not separate from them. And right away, instead of going into the paranoid state, which is fear and judgment, you actually move into the state of love and oneness, and you recognize you're not separate. And that actually begins to produce peace. It begins to support those around you coming into alignment with peace. It just stabilizes what's going on.
It's extremely powerful to recognize that when we're not separate from all that we were and all that we are, we really do become together to really diminish those chaotic or paranoid states of being that we have, either individually or collectively with each other.
And the ability to embody empowerment.
Here it is.
This is a great one. This is where we liberate ourselves. So the moment the bonds of fear, the paranoia, right, are released, I experience the revelation that I am not separate from all that is. Source. I am not separate. Oneness fills my awareness, and I am empowered to be the loving expression of my true nature, sharing my gifts with the world I choose to relate to. So as you begin to practice your self-love daily, as you choose peace, you begin to resonate with others who are doing the same as you. You begin to attract to yourself that which resonates with peace and conscious choice. And then as you put out that desire, if you want to call it a desire, I choose your choice, right? I choose to relate to others who are choosing peace. You will find each other. You certainly will. I mean, we both found each other because we wanted to create non-physical healing.
Right.
We knew it was possible, and that was how we came together to start working.
Right. And from all of this together, where we're all can work together, is this invitation to live inside of Pronoia. And so when you experience your life in knowing the world is always supporting you, even when life is challenging, we have the opportunity to live inside of Pronoia. And the reason why we say life inside of Pronoia consciousness is it's a whole thought stream. It's a whole sets of beliefs and understandings and knowings that we can live inside of this state of being. And as I experience life, knowing the world is always supporting me, even as life, it can be challenging, is challenging, or totally challenging, I can consciously choose to see, feel, hear, and embody the beauty and love life presents as options to support and resource and give me opportunities I have yet to experience. And so really living inside of it, even when life is challenging, we can recognize that the world will provide pronoia opportunities and resources.
And one last thing I just want to share is that some people do recognize that they live inside paranoia all the time, all day long. And sometimes it feels like too big of a jump to go all the way over into pronoia. So opening that door to having life, supply, support, and resources and opportunity, gently, lovingly, excitingly, just allow that door of pronoia to open so you can, peek through, look through, taste and sample what pronoia is like, so you can open that door even wider so that that jump doesn't feel so sudden. So like, oh, I don't think I could trust that. I mean, I've had a few clients that realized, oh my gosh, I'm totally in the paranoia side, right? And so through little steps of tasting and sampling pronoia, it really began to open the door wider for them. So we invite you to do that too. This has been your lifelong habit to be in paranoia.
We sure can. And so we really support everyone moving forward and integrating pronoia every day.
As we've mentioned, we have this amazing program called Remote Transmissions. It's an energy healing program. We support people every Wednesday night for 30 minutes while they are meditating. We put together these very unique custom energy healing packets for the participants to meditate and play with and integrate changes that they want to make in their consciousness. And it's a very powerful tool to support deep transformational shifts. So at any time you can enroll in this program. It's all year round. When you do, we highly recommend that you also get a subscription to Awake TV and start watching this series once a week and match your episode 1 with transmission 1, because everything inside of that episode is going to be supported in you with some customized tweaks to support the release of consciousness challenges that have been preventing you from actually changing your consciousness in all the ways that you want. And this begins to help support pronoia so that you can have the desired experience that you've been wanting all along but didn't know how to make. So we help make good shifts happen. And 2 energy healers supporting you for 12 weeks. It's really very powerful. So that's always available at 9 p.m. on Wednesdays, your time zone.
It's perfect. And it's really, really an amazing adventure to experience your inner connection with your inner guidance each and every week. We invite you to come along for the journey.
And next week, reality shifting through belief systems. So we are ramping up.
To explain and to share. It's wonderful. We are so excited you joined us here today and experienced living a lifestyle through pronoia. And we invite you to share that with all your friends and family about the opportunity to live in a state of pronoia every day.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again.
Bye-bye.